Hi everyone. I'm standing in front of my Scag machine. It's a commercial machine. The name of it is a Tiger Cat. Now the purpose of this video will be to show you how to remove the front caster wheels on a zero turn and what the parts inside look like. So if you got to pull a wheel off for whatever reason, this video may help you. So first thing you do is you get it jacked up in the air. So get the wheel free, moving. I usually use impact guns, but this is not that hard. I'm just going to take this apart real quick. You remove that bolt in the center, and if it's rusty, you're going to have to, if it's in the rain or whatever, you're going to have to drive it out with another screw or a punch or something. But this one hasn't been in the rain. This one will come right apart real easy, and that's how you remove it, real easy. On the bench I have the complete tire, rim, and all the components that make up the caster wheel on these machines. Of course you have the nut and bolt. That's what you bolt down on the machine to put the wheel on. This is a pipe that goes through. It's a guide for the bolt. You got a set of bearings. These are two-piece bearings. You got a race and the bearing. You have two bushings and two seals. Now it's all the same part number for this wheel. Half of it goes on this side, the other half goes on the other side. How I remove the parts, I use a slide puller. It's a device that you may not see with the camera totally, but you hook the parts up. You hook the parts up with the seal, and then by driving this little wedge over here, you're able to force the parts out, and that works really well for a lot of applications. If you don't have one of those things, you can use a long screwdriver perhaps, or a long bar or a long punch, and go on one side of the wheel and drive out the parts through the other side of the wheel. That's also an easy way to do it. Now this is already pre-assembled mostly. Let me get this out of the way. You get a socket. Make sure the socket fits almost to the right side. The race of the bearing is still in here now. So that part is assembled. I'm going to drop in the pre-lube grease bearing. I'm going to put the seal back on. Seal goes on, the top side is like this. I'm going to take my socket. Then the wheel is pre-machined, so everything should slide in fairly easy. Something like that, right below the rim. You take the bushing, goes in the center. Then that pipe goes through everything. So that's your assembled wheel right there. So you get the bearing inside, you got the bushing, and you got the pipe. Now, what that bushing is doing, the bushing is actually preloading on the bearing itself. So when you put this on the machine, you can't over tighten that bolt because you're going to crush the bearing. So you'll see me in a moment when I put it back on, I rotate the tire, and when it starts to drag a little bit, I kind of leave it, that's where I leave it. So it's not too tight, not too loose. But this bushing is what you're actually bolting on the fork. It's actually pressing on the bearing itself. So if you over tighten it, the wheel's not going to spin. But that's pretty much how the components look. Pretty easy, a little bit greasy. Make sure you grease it up before you're all done. Grease is a good thing. When you go put it back together, you want the parts to be nice and clean on the fork. Get the wheel where it's got to go, put the bolt back in. And put your nut back. I use a nylon nut because It's like a lock washer. It matters how tight you put them. Wheel's spinning free now, but as you tighten it, you're going to compress the bearings. That's what matters. That's it. Easy. Just back it off a little bit so it freewheels. Thank you for watching.